All right, happy Friday, everybody. So this is going to be a little bit of a different stream. Typically, I split the flow recap and the power hour streams, but we had a little lighter week here. So I'm going to start here. It's going to probably be about 5-10 minutes for the flow recap. It's been really, really quiet. And then we'll kind of just jump into watching flow and all that per usual. And if you are new to my videos, for the flow recap, we typically just kind of look at that full range of motion for the contract. So, and I'm also going to start doing the recaps live. So I'll probably schedule those for like a Friday evening or Saturday morning, whatever. But we're going to first start here. I actually don't have my numbers fully plugged in my spreadsheet here. So I'm going to kind of be doing it on the fly. And obviously, everybody in here, again, if you're new, I should pop this over because I don't have it fully prepared here. Let me go over here yet. So all of our flow that gets tracked is in your flow alerts, ETF flow alerts, and your flow and charts here. And the flow and charts will always kind of probably remain in another video, possibly, we'll see. But if you're new to joining this, all my flow is posted here. Don't edit anything. So we are going to get started here, and apologize because I'm going to be plugging in the numbers at the same time. So most of our flow came in here on Monday. We have the Tesla 1226 440 calls. Those really printed here. So that was our entry there on Monday, 1680. And this whale actually, let me go back to Monday, ended up taking some profits off on the same day. You look at 12-1 here. You had, let's see, sorry, I wasn't expecting a message here. I should probably mute this so I don't get distracted. But 12-1, you can see all that volume here, and about roughly half of that carrying over. I think our whale went in for a quick scalp because you had a lot of that volume coming in here right away. And again, just kind of recapping the flow here, coming back and looking. My internet's been really slow today. So again, just kind of coming in here and looking. You see how that IV spikes when that flow comes in. That spot is coming in at the ask the entire time. Small little drop there, but then that IV actually dropped a little bit more there. And then on your big size here, it popped back up there and then rose again at the end and then continued to rise there, especially on the bigger size and premiums there. So you finished up high, and obviously some little stragglers here, more than likely related when you look at that timing there. So that full move, obviously, that whale kind of missed out on there. It's hard to tell exactly where they got up, but it looks like they kind of probably sized out here on that little run up there. But they did miss a massive move on those, because if we come back here to the original there, so at 1680, they did hit a high of 3069 today. So that's off a little bit. So your max return on that, if you would have held through the entire thing, 82.68%. And looking at the second here as well, when you see all that bid side flow kind of coming in here as well, majority of that carried over. So somebody else opened up a position at the bid, and looks like most of that is still in. So that whale's pretty happy there. Spot, this one, kind of looking back at it, kind of go back in here and look. When you look at it kind of come in here, it's interesting because that IV does rise, kind of drops a little bit, then spikes here, then spikes towards the end here. So that IV looks good. And that spot here, that spot price kind of is a little messed up. It probably looks like it might be at the bid now that you come back and kind of look at it. But that one looks like they're probably sells to open here, but still 2 weeks on them. You never know. They kind of pop back a little bit today. more than likely sells there now when you kind of go back and look at them, but they are trading at 659. So if that whale is truly bullish on those, they'd be down 63% there. The ARC puts, this one was kind of, so that 250, I have 250 as our entry here, but so that being that candle there, a lot of volume on these. So let's go back to the first here, sorry. So 250 here, then they ran here. I mean, came back to almost break even towards the end of the day. Most of that volume carried over, and then you had some more volume as well there on the second. So let's go over to the second here. So more ask side stuff here, just not really getting any movement on those, and this whale as well would be down here 2 weeks on them. Obviously, we have FOMC next week, and probably not going to see a 7% drop, but just kind of coming back and looking at that 12-1 entry as well, too. Like, when you look at that flow here, I mean, the good example, it's not always going to work. It's not 100% of science where it's going to do everything, but, like, your IV's coming up, your spot's staying in at the ask, and then about 2 minutes later, that spot did drop there a little bit. Can't really do anything with that. I'm guessing ARC probably went up a little bit there, and then your IV kind of dropped there towards the end, and that can happen with any of the flow where it comes in, and then let me go back to it. Then 5-10 minutes later, you get more flow coming in. It can happen with anything. But yeah, so that would have been another one of the losers this week. Yeah, the flow was just not that good this week. So if this whale truly is bearish on these, they're trading at 90 right now. So that whale would be down 64% on those if they truly are bearish on those. Gap, this one, a little longer time frame on this one. We had more gap flow come in yesterday, 82. These are trading at about 55 right now. So another one with time, that whale's down 32% on those. And again, just kind of looking at the flow. The gap calls that came in yesterday popped pretty nicely. This guy might have just gotten a little bit early, but again, you just see how that IV pops when that flow comes in. Spot is filling at the ask, and your IV rises, spot price rising. So it reads as a buy. I mean, and again, too, what I always tell people when we're doing the flow recaps, these are 42 days out. That whale's probably not looking for a move in a day or two. This is kind of the flow I like to come back to, maybe chart out, look for a better spot. And it does look like these actually, from the first here, so most of that carried over. Looks like they went green here on the second a little bit. So that is a little interesting to me, because what was our fill? 82. So yeah, they slightly went green, but probably not for much long, and that was just probably a spread there. So another one where that whale's down 32% if they are still truly bullish. NVIDIA. This one, I think this whale may have averaged down. So when we look at the second here, we have 23,000 contracts traded. Majority of those carried over. Missing some premium in there. And if we come back here to the second and look at that. So that was the whale there, 631. We do have some volume come in after. So between all these big candles, about 5,500, 42. So you're about 10 there, 15, 17-ish or so. So, I mean, a lot of that volume on those big spikes seemed to have carried over. And then the interesting part is on the third here. Let me go over to the third. You have another big spike here, 10,000. And again, most of that carries over into the next day. So I'm not wondering if the whale is actually still in with, I mean, a month on these. And they did, I mean, they came back up here, 553. They hit 580 today. So, I mean, yesterday they hit that. So, I mean, they came close to break even again. But again, if that whale still is truly bullish on these and they are in trading at 450, 414. So that whale's down 30%, 34% on those. Yeah, the flow this week was not the best. This whale actually got out same day, so we're going to pop back here to the second. That whale got out for a little loss, it looks like, but that flow came in 68. We had a nice little run here, so again, coming in 9:30 on Central Time. Hit our high here about 10:30, so we had a slow little move down technically on the stock there for the first hour. And that flow, when we go back and look at it, let's pop my results back here. Yeah, 57.03. And you just see how you get a little bid side here towards the end. Little drop in that, or that IV kind of comes back a little bit here on that size, and then you have a big spike in the IV here. So reads as a buy, and then that whale obviously kind of missed out on profits, and it looks like they cut there for a loss at 42. Let me come back here, sorry. So that high there, 99 on the day. So yeah, 1 on the day. Let me just pop that there. So that max return, a quick little return there, 42% on those. And then zoom, this thing printed very nicely here. Your original entry, 98 there. Hitting 225 today for a high. So that was a very nice return on those, so about 130% or so on those. And just kind of coming back here and looking at that volume when it came in, you just see how that IV increases that entire way up. Spot prices increasing the entire way up. Looked very good there at the time. Good move on those. But yeah, really short flow recap this week. Just not the best flow. It's just been a really low and volume environment, and that it's not the best for options, especially if you get chop and kind of moves like that. It just kind of makes it not the best all the time. But so that's kind of our flow recap there. Now we'll kind of look at the flow as it's coming in here. If anybody has any requests, feel free to drop them down in the chat as well. But yeah, I mean, it's been very, very quiet for the most part. Just a lot of flow that looks good, but it's just not very super strong conviction on my end to kind of post the stuff. And I think, well, we had more gaps yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it's been really, really slow. Yeah, okay, let's look at the strategy calls that you're pointing out here. So 1219. Okay, let me pull my contract look up. So the 180 to 185 calls. Okay, let's see. So strategy flow I've not had the best luck with. Let's see, 1219. Okay, let's go over here. 1219. Let's see, so 180. Let's go look at the 180 first. $12, 187.5. Yeah, I don't see anything for the 1219. Okay, I'm gonna do the second one because I'm pretty sure I seen that hit the feed here a little bit ago. So this 12-12 187.5, or you. So if it's a 12-12 187.5, this is a multi-leg trade that came in. Looks like they're rolling the contracts out here. Just always popping in the profit calculator here, call debit spread on those. So obviously bullish there. So essentially looking good there. And then the 192.5s Yeah, no problem. There's so many, you look at so many contracts, it just kind of, they all go together after a while. So the 1212 192 fives here. So this one, a lot of volume, just kind of doing the eye test right away. That's something you'd have to verify that open interest on. Again, with the calls on strategy, I have not had a lot of good luck when I've tracked those. They always look very, very good, but then they don't always pan out that way. And this one, yeah, I mean, like the IV spikes and it's coming in at the ask, it looks good, but I just haven't had good luck. I don't get a good feeling when I look at the strategy flow anymore. Let's see if we got anything on this one. 7506. Yeah, and I mean, weeklies and you're 7% out of the money. You're going to have to get a pretty big move on something like that to actually capture that, especially with theta over the weekend. And then obviously you have crypto running 24/7. So if that is, crypto continues to decline or there's news in crypto, you're going to probably see something get hit there. Yeah, let's go back and look at those NXDRs. So yeah, Yakko, I'm not really a fan of the strategy flow there. It's just always, I just don't get a good feeling with it. I mean, I've been burnt on it a couple times where I'm hit, like, that ask side flow just looks phenomenal and everything, and then it just doesn't pan out. All right, MG wants me to look at NXDR, the 2-5 calls. Did we talk about that in the live yesterday? I think we did, didn't we? Let me go back and look here. So NXDR, we got the 2-5. It was the 116. Okay, let's go back to yesterday. So yeah, like when that IV comes in, so it spikes, and yeah, I feel, I don't know if we talked about these in the live yesterday or not, but that bid ask spread right away, you just see it's a 0 and it's 10. So I mean, that's not the best to kind of trade off something like that. And I think, yeah, you see that IV kind of drop there. It doesn't look good at face value. Obviously, you can go back and look at it and, like, it made a good move. But, like, that IV's decreasing the entire time on the way up. Like, at face value, I'm not going to take this or something. That spread is kind of horrendous, obviously. Yeah, I mean, they made a good move over about 150% on those. So really good move on those. Looks like they're still up too. Yeah, most of that's still in. Most of that is still in. All right, let's. Yeah, MG, like, at face value, and again, just because that flow matches the criteria or it doesn't match the criteria, doesn't mean it's gonna always move. Like the example we just looked at, the NXDR, is like that. The IV there is scarier to me. I don't want to say scary, but I mean, it doesn't look as good as some of the other flow. But again, it doesn't mean it's not going to run because you ran there for over 100%. All right, let's look at the SoFi 1228 calls. SoFi 28, and it's the 1228 calls. So bid side here, we do, so it's definitely an opener here because you got 2,000 contracts. There was only 1,000 open at the time, so definitely an opening trade. I can 100% for sure tell you that. Now let's kind of look at the feed, and See if anything sticks out here. And I'm going to grab a drink quick too as well, so give me 1 second. Okay. So kind of looking at the flow here, I'm not really seeing a ton. Let's get back to these repeated hits. So a lot of this, okay, coming in there. I'm just kind of monitoring that IV. I'm not really seeing any major changes in that IV. These look like cells to me here. Everything's kind of coming in at the bid here. Just not seeing any changes in that IV when it comes in. The only really change we see here is the one from 130 here, and it drops a little bit here when it comes in. So I want to say these are cells. They look like cells to me. And we are 1% out of the money with 28 days to go. Yeah, these look like cells to me here. Actually, I don't get confidence in bid or upside momentum on this. Again, just kind of looking at it, what's SoFi doing today? A lot of put premium. So that call premium, really big dip today. Slowly coming back. What are contracts on the day? So 0 day. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything majorly interesting here. Let me get rid of this. Let's take a peek. Oh crap, wrong way. Okay. Okay, so I want to we'll do out of the money only, and we'll do some volume greater. Let's see if we can find something. So yeah, I'm seeing your heavier ask side chains here. So this is your big one here. Your heaviest ask side chain, the 73%, is your biggest premium here, and that's downside. Looks like 1.3, yeah, this is opening today for sure. 94% multi-leg, so let's see where that is kind of coming in here. So it looks like it's probably coming in from here. Pop this into the calculator. So yeah, it's definitely a bearish looking trade. That's multi-leg there. Yeah, I don't have a good fit of those, the SoFi calls. I probably wouldn't say they're bullish. Again, never know what can happen. But I don't read it as bullish right now. Then let's see. I just want to look at our highest open interest contracts quick. So we got a lot sitting on that 116. Any large size coming in, or is this just kind of retail-y? Yeah, just lots of little kind of hits here. So yeah, you're not going to really be able to track anything major here. You just see all that kind of volume that you don't get a good read on something like that. So yeah, I'm going to say those calls, they kind of look selly to me there. So, okay, JD calls. Let's take a peek. I don't think I've seen any JD flow for a while. I don't think we have anything opening today. Even the last, let's just look at the last 7. So I had one trade here on the 3rd, and it looks like it's going to be a block trade, but we'll double check it. Well, probably should go to the 3rd and check it. 3rd, so 500 contracts. Yeah, so block trade, we don't have any flow to really go off of here. It does lean a little bit more towards the ask side, but I just don't get to see how that, when the whale comes in, I just don't get to see how that, cut the contracts around it, how that IV changes, the spot price, the fill, and all that. we can see what else might be on here. We'll see what we got for the highest volume today, M1. So your highest volume contracts on the day, you are seeing a lot of the 40 calls. Going to be a lot of open interest on this one, though. You got 354,000 contracts on here, and just because it's high open interest doesn't mean it's bullish. Just keep that in mind. 33% out of the money. I just want to see what this is. Yeah, this is junky, messy, unreadable there. It's like doing surgery there. If you gotta do surgery, just pass on it. Let's see, these ones, 34 calls, 13% out of the money. Again, a lot of open interest on these. Keep going back here. Yeah, I wonder if these were originally sells and they're kind of buying them back now, possibly. I want to look at that first candle. Also, part of a multi-leg trade, and when you see those arrows like that, that means that there's shares involved there, so I will kind of pass on something like that too. Let's see. How about that 12 call for next week? So this one, you definitely have a lot of volume today. 1386, 600, 980. Yeah, you'd want to double check open interest on this on Monday, but let's see. I'd probably say there's not much on this one. Looks like a lot of, yeah, these look kind of call selly here to me. You just see how that IV's up at that 34.16. Now, it doesn't show it's related there with like a sweep or anything, but just kind of looking at that code there, that your codes are very, very similar. Timing is, I mean, to the second almost here. I mean, within 10 seconds. And that IV's dropping. Then it pops up again, drops again. Yeah, these look kind of selly to me here. Yeah, it's kind of all I'm really seeing. Maybe those 77 days. We'll look at these ones. These might be a little cleaner. Let's see. So a lot of that volume starting to kind of come in here. End of October. 20. Yeah, but have to check that. It just, when you get that much volume on it, you just don't know where the contracts are changing hands. It's better to find that 100% identifiable opening flow. Let's see. Yeah, and it's just kind of coming in blocks here, so you can't really see anything. How are our premiums the last 14? Yeah, just not anything major with the premiums either. Just, I mean, some bid side puts there. Yeah, nothing super major there, gamma wise. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much in line here with everything. A little positive gamma there back early October. Eventually probably come up and hit that level, but who knows how long. Let's see. So you also asked about Queb. Let's look at Queb. Oh, shit. All right, let's see. Oh, fucker. Hold on. All right. So I have this one marked for some reason. I'm going to have to take a peek at that. So a lot of bid side, and it looks like a lot of multi-leg stuff on this one as well too. So it looks like a lot of these calls more than likely are related to each other. You can just see that multi-leg tab there where it's 100%, 100%, 99%, 98, 99. A lot of this stuff is probably related to each other. Just kind of take a peek here. Yeah, it looks like they are Probably 40 to the 47 rolling the calls out, possibly. Call debit spread. Yeah, so I mean they're bullish multi-legs, but let's see if I can find another one in here. 46, so another one that's involving shares. Yeah, and your spreads are so bad on them too. Let's go back in here. Yeah, last 14 days. So you do have some bullish net call premium back here on the 5th. Or the 3rd, sorry, today's the 5th. I was like, I always come up here and I look at that first date and I'm just like, oh, it's the 5th. Wait, like, no, that's today. Yeah, so the 3rd here, you got a big spike in net call premium. And again, at some point, price will essentially fill that gap. Don't know when, might happen, might not, but historically, you can see we always kind of fill. I was looking for the slider bar like it was a gamma. Like here you have the massive drop in bid side call premium, and that price eventually did come up and hit that. And then here's your big spike there, and price kind of starting to trend back up. Gamma, how's our gamma look? I think gamma's bullish on, no. I was thinking of a different one. I think I'm thinking of KVU where the gamma's up a lot. Yeah, I mean, a little maybe downside there on the gamma there. I think it's KVU. I gotta go and look at that one, see if that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, KVU's got a lot of positive gamma up there, back from 11-14 or so. Let's see, what else do we got coming in? Let's see, the Carvana 12-5-400 calls. Let's see. What were they thinking indeed? Let's go find out what they were thinking. Carvana 12. I got it 400. So it's the 12-5-400 call. Are you talking about it coming in today? Or are you talking about it maybe coming in today? Looks like bid side, so my guess they're selling. I just want to kind of look because you do have some previous open interest. That volume today, they'll come back here. 1,500, so for sure opening trade. So we'll just kind of look at that then. So this one was at multi-leg. 23% multi-leg. So that multi-leg is kind of up there. I always, rule of thumb for me is always 10% and under for that. Yeah, your IV is just kind of all over the place here. 67. Yeah, your IV is kind of all over the place on this one. Let's see. I'm trying to see where a multi-leg is on it. It's not. Probably up in here? No. Yeah, interesting. I mean, you're showing 23% multi-leg. Come back here and take a peek. Yeah, because that's not 23% of the volume on that contract here. It looks like most of this is kind of single leg. Let me. Oh, here we go. There's your multi-leg coming in here. So yeah, they are looking for Carvana to essentially just chop, it looks like. Some weird multi-leg stuff. What is this? Call debit spread. I don't know if that's our big whale. I'll try this one right here. So this one looks more like our multi-leg one. Yeah, call butterfly. Yeah, that flow, that chain, I'm gonna say I probably wouldn't touch it, especially with all the multi-leg on it. Anywhere else that's kind of bigger size, a little bit earlier here it looks like. Yeah, just a lot of one. Here we go, here's a little more. Yeah, keep popping them in the chat. Please keep popping them in the chat, because I do not have to sit and try to pick through flow then. Yeah, I'm going to probably say hard no on that Carvana flow. So up next, we have the Series 3 2026 calls. And I am very, like, the MG, you are insane for the way that you format the date on the unusual whales. I always, because mine are obviously with the date, the month first, a day, and then that. I gotta show it on here 1 second. I people that can have it like this and actually read the flow super quick. Props to you, because I sit there and like look at it like that for a couple minutes whenever I get flow requests, and I'm like, what the hell is this? All right, let's look here, though. Series, because there's not a 20th month. Series 3, so 25, 3, 2026. So definitely an opening trade. You can see that right away. Only 779 open interest contracts. You got 3,200 being traded here. 28.59, still greater than 779. 13% out of the money. A lot of time on these. You're up 2 1/4 today. So the IV looks good because it spikes here. Would just keep an eye on that bid-ask spread. You are going to overlap earnings as well. But it looks good how it comes in there. IV rises. IV stays up. Yeah, that flow looks good to me, and I feel like I saw another chain that was opening today too. Nope, it was just that 25. Yeah, I'd say that looks good. And kind of look at our other chains here. The 105. Yeah, I would say that looks good to me there. I mean, big. Oh, your premiums are really goofy on this one. I mean, big move in that net call premium today. Just no puts in sight. Yeah, 0-day. 195 days, so another further out one here. A little smaller size though, but let's see. Going back to the 17th. Yeah, this one I'm not as confident in as the 320s here. These 320/26s look pretty good, and just kind of, because you got a lot of time on those. I wonder how the chart looks. Oh, look at that Comcast. I knew I should have got some of those damn calls. That thing popped out of that. Oh, wait, that's our volume. I was like, that thing popped. No, it was just kind of chopping in there. So, Siri, let's just kind of see where we are on the chart. So, weekly chart, you got a lot of time on those. I am liking this. We'll kind of tighten it up a little bit here. I'd probably draw this as a kind of support, possibly demand zone here. Or support, yeah, demand. You bounced here. This is a spot you gotta look for a bounce. This is your risk area right here. You're bouncing out, or you're gonna kind of drop down here. My risk would be a close below this on that weekly. You got a lot of time on those contracts too, so it'd be kind of nice if. Where are we today? So we did break through that 20-day. It looks like on the weekly. Good volume on the week. How about on our daily? So So let's see, daily, daily, daily. Yeah, you're testing that 100-day on the daily. Looks like you broke through. I mean, you're sitting right on it right now. Volume has been up. Volume picked up a little bit here on that and then kind of dropped off a little bit there. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for, and just kind of coming back here to April 2 of this year, just slight little trend, I would be kind of cautious of this area because you are right on that, and it looks like your uptrend here is right at that 100-day, and it kind of looks like it's starting to reject that. You got a lot of time on those as well. I'm just kind of trying to see what else we can get out here. Kind of see if we can get out of this. Oops. Connector a little bit. Yeah, I mean, if you can get out of this, that 200-day, and you get past that 200, you got your next resistance spot. And put it at that 24, 22-ish area if you get past that 200-day. Yeah, that's perfect, almost perfect resistance there. If you can get past that 200-day and out of that zone, I would look for maybe a move up to that spot. So let's see what else we got here. We got the RGTI 9129 color. I was like, September's already passed. Can't believe it's already going to be 2026 here. So the RGTI, we're doing 29 call. It's going to be for September 1. Whoops. Oh, come here. Okay, do it the hard way. Oops. So 9-1. The hell am I reading wrong here? Oh, 1-9. See, look, I was looking up September there. I'm like, I don't see a September. That's why it wasn't coming up. So, okay. So 1-9. That's the 29 call. See, if it didn't say that 35-day DTE at the top, I'd be sitting there like, I don't see that contract. Okay, so we got... Okay, I'm just going to refresh this. I don't know why that made me freak out so much. GTI 1-9 and the 29 call. There we go. So 2% out of the money, 1% multi-leg. Definitely an opening trade. Good premium. So you got the block trade here. So essentially that block trade just means all of that volume is coming in at once. We don't really get a good read on this versus kind of the other flow, how you see it come in multiple pulls, and you can kind of read that IV and spot all the way up. And this is the first trade on the day as well too, so you don't really have any flow before it to kind of look at. Yeah, I'm 14-16. Hard to know if any of this is related to it. RGTI really highly traded, so I'm gonna probably say no on this flow, just with it kind of coming in as a block like that. MG, I think you can just come in. How do you change the damn date setup? I think you date setup. I don't know how off the top of my head. I don't want to mess with my settings on here and mess it up for me. Let's see. I think if you just come up, where's my damn settings? Columns. Yeah, I think There's an easy way to do it. I had to do it once before. I would have to... Let's see if I can find it for you. Yeah, don't get jealous about that lifetime tier either. Let's see if I can... Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, right here. So you just come up into your settings, manage account, scroll down, and you can change your colors and your date format right in there. So yeah, no, and you can keep it that way if it works for you. Keep it that way. Don't change it just because of me, just because I'm giving you shit. But yeah, you can change your settings and your theme and all that in there as well. Yeah, take a peek at that lifetime. Take a peek at that beautiful lifetime. Okay, let's see. So the 116 UL60 call. 116 UL60 call. So definitely an opening trade here. 1% out of the money. Good premium. So that IV, so that timing 14:26:08, about 20 seconds in between, about 30 seconds in between all of this flow in here. Not a lot of confidence in this with that IV kind of decreasing here. Spot is coming in at the ask, but that IV just kind of decreases here in that 14:28:47. I would probably take a very highly educated guess this is part of this trade. Then it pops up again there and then drops a little bit towards the end. Yeah, I'm not really liking that flow too much. What else do we got on the day? So we're up almost 1%. Yeah, big spike in that net call premium today. So you do have a lot of that upside. How about our highs of volume? And we were looking at the one. Okay, so it was 116. So that is your highest traded contract on the day. Also have the 12/19/60 call. So 1,000 contracts there, 480 there, 500 there. Definitely would have to watch that open interest, and we do have some volume back here from 12/2 as well. Yeah, this one you'd have to monitor that open interest. My guess is, what are we at? Would they open at 569 there? 76. Yeah, this one, you'd have to check that open interest on Monday. Not a lot of confidence, at least in that first one you showed me. Let's look at this one. 2087, so that IV does rise when it comes in. This does look like it's all related. What else do we got on it? Let's see. What about the... Okay, so the 11660... 12, yeah, that's really all we have to kind of go off of. Everything else is just kind of not the best looking stuff. Yeah, nothing there. It's our gamma look. Yeah, pretty much in line with gamma there too. Nothing major there. Yeah, I'll probably tell you no on the ULs too. How's that chart look actually, UL? Oh, your daily kinda. Let's pop this over the week. Yeah, I mean, kind of in no man's land right now. Run that trend line up. Could see it possibly testing that trend line there. Back to the daily. Yeah, your daily looks a little better as it's testing that trend there. Yeah, I just don't like that flow though on it with that IV decrease, and I'll pop it up one more time here. Yeah, you just see how it's kind of decreasing as it's coming in. It just doesn't look super convincing to me. And again, that UL could pop 30%, 30% on Monday. You just never 100% know. All right, how about SMR? JT, yeah, you're probably right about that. I forgot they have the rebalancing today. SMR. What do we got here? Draw my trend up here quick. Bouncing off that uptrend. How about our flow for it? Flow, I'm not really seeing anything super convincing here. Everything's pretty split down the middle. A lot of bid side on the calls here. 0-day call. This is probably your biggest one. Yeah, so that's definitely a no side one here. Or mid. What the I swear it showed 50-50 for that fill. So this looks good. Here are the 25s for 320. IV spikes. 42 stays up. So it's filling that spot, drops a little bit there, but that 63 is the ask. I need to go back and look at that because that was goofy. I swore that showed that it was a kind of a more midi fill. So yeah, that 100. So this is your biggest premium one on the day. Oh wait, that's Siri again. Why the hell did it? Okay, there we go. I was like, what the hell, man? Thank God it's Friday, man. Okay. So I was correct. I'm not crazy. So that is pretty much a mid fill, no side-ish fill there. So there we go. There we go. I swore I clicked on it. I swear to God I clicked on that thing. Swear I clicked on that thing. So this one, yeah, it's right in the middle there. Right, a split right in the middle there. I mean, you're definitely in the mid fill there. I swear I clicked on that thing. Swear to God. Volume. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty mixed here, and it's a lot of 0 days. Longer term bid side, yeah. Not seeing much on that one. So your net call premiums, I mean, you already kind of popped there on that after that big hit. Gamma. Yeah, you got some positive gamma the last 2 days, though, so decent sign there. Yeah, the gamma looks good, but just gotta get some flow to support that. Okay, let's do the Reddit 12-12-240 call. Reddit 12-12-240 call. So again, a lot of volume on this one on the day here. So you got about 450 or about 400. You're at 850 there. Another 400 there, so 1200 or so, and then 900 there. So all separate hits. Educated guess, they're probably related. I'm going to do the big one here at the end and just kind of take a peek. Was that multi-leg? Yeah, 38% multi-leg too. So it looks like 78. So your multi-leg part of this, it's going to be a, make me go back and find the multi-leg. So, okay, here you go. Here's your multi-leg part. 12.5 to the 12.12. So call diverts. So it is bullish. There's a bullish multi-leg. Let's go back to that original. You just have to kind of monitor that open interest. I'm not a super big fan of the multi-leg on there. I mean, it's a big amount for that chain. We'll see if anything else on Reddit's coming in though today. So 12.5 here. So the 0 days here, yeah, I'm not. Everything's kind of split down the middle here. Again, nothing super interesting there. So okay, the weekly or the AAL chart here. God, I gotta just stick to one tab. All right, let's take a look at your AAL. Draw this boy out right here. Yeah, you're looking good there. Hitting that 200 right now on the weekly. A lot of volume this week on airlines. I know you were talking about that earlier in the chat, JT. Just kind of coming back here to 2021. I mean, you're breaking out of that kind of downtrend here too, and you got that elevated volume. Pop it back to the week here quick one more time. Yeah, I mean, especially for shares, this is not a horrible spot. You can see this is, I mean, a very low point here. The only thing with airlines that kind of concerns me, especially if we have earnings coming up, is how badly they were impacted from the shutdown. That's the only thing that kind of concerns me with airlines right now. All right. Yeah, from 2018. Yeah, I mean, that uptrend there from 08 and then 2018. Where's my 2018? 15, 16, 17. Yeah, it's a really tight little trend there. Yeah, the only thing that scares me with airlines, just that government shutdown and how badly impacted they are. Okay, so we want a market tide read before the end of the day. So let's take a peek. I haven't looked at it, obviously, for the last half hour here. So a market tide read. So essentially how I read it and how I type it up, it's just going to be quick here. I'm paying attention to my put premiums, call premiums out of the money for both calls, puts, all. So how I read this right now, Meta is your leader in net call impact, Meta, Palantir, Gold, Nvidia, SPY, strategy here impacting your put premiums, call premiums tailing off right now, out of the money call premiums also starting to tail down. You got all put premiums starting to tail up with some put volume coming in here. Your out of the money puts are finally above zero to the ask side. Looks like that out of the money wants to cross above that all call premiums there as well. But otherwise, you're essentially flat here on the day. I mean, most of the day your premium's just flat, not getting much there. And we're kind of dumping into close here. Dang, it's already I've already been on an hour. That is crazy. That is just absolutely crazy. I'm just kind of zooming out. I always zoom out with the tide too, just so you can kind of get that bigger view. Look at our premiums for the week. That's 14. I want to do 7 days. Last 7 days. I mean, you really only had spikes here back on the 26th and then the 3rd. Otherwise, I mean, you're pretty flat for the most part there. Just nothing super good. And it looks like that price did kind of come up and hit that gap there too. So let's do the IBIT 1253s. I'm going to grab a drink quick too. And I'm happy, knock on wood, that the mic is working perfect for once. My video is recorded. We are rolling along today for once. I want to look at our sentiment too. And that sentiment, you do have to refresh it just so it kind of refreshes. So we're greed today. Greed. Volatilities, greed. Market data is greed. How's our breath? Yeah, about neutral there. I do want to look at one more thing here quick, and then I'll do your IBITs here. I want to look at our volume. Again, volume non-existent here. Hey, almost there. Everything. Geez, look at text volume compared to the 30-day average. Holy low volume. Absolutely low volume there. Yeah, low volume all over again. Market's waiting on FOMC next week, man. That's the week before FOMC and the week of just go on vacation. Take a vacation. Okay, let's do the IBIT 1212s. I think I got those right. Here, nope. We do have, I'm going to look at this other IBIT quick here before I grab yours. 145, looks like it kind of popped a little bit already. This is probably a block trade. Yep. Alright, let's look at the one you want though. IBIT 1212, and it is the 53 call. So this one, a whole bunch of nothing. Look at your bid side, mid side, and ask side volume here. Pretty much split down the middle. I mean, actually it is split down the middle. 10K in ask, and then bunch in mid and bids. So 10K there, 10K there. 20K on the day. So we did have a large size here on the second. Go back here and take a peek. Second. So a lot of volume there. So that mid one is big part of a multi-leg too. Ooh, a really messy multi-leg one too. So 6-leg strategy. If you want to try to follow that, hey, that's all you. But it looks like it's bullish here according to the profit calculator. And again, this is just pulling in the contracts. It doesn't mean they're all related to each other. It's just aggregated data, essentially. So just kind of keep that in mind there. What else do we have here? Anything coming in on the feed? Microsoft puts, yeah, not really at the ask. HPE, not at the ask. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of swinging stuff over the week, and that's weeklies, especially knowing it's going to be FOMC next week. You know, Monday, Tuesday are going to be choppy. So more of those strategy calls coming in, and just kind of as I was telling you, I'm not a big fan of the strategy flow. I've seen it burn so many times. I've been burnt on it a couple times too. I wouldn't touch that thing with a 10-foot pole. Especially weeklies, because you are going to get hurt over the weekend if they do not move. But these Schwab calls next week, though, and 10% multi-leg, probably a no. 963, so, I mean, it reads as a buy, but do you really want to swing this over the weekend? Probably not. This would be some risky flow, so, you know, perfect for a risky channel. Yeah, I mean, this is the feed today. Just look at all the multi-leg junk just kind of coming in. We had good flow here until the data here. Go back here. Oh shit. Okay, here we are today. Look at all that data. Or we had some decent flow here before the data, and then data came in and it was just multi-leg pretty much all day. Let's see what else we got here. Go to my screener. Nice, I get to go to Sam's Club in about 5 minutes. So yeah, that S flow is your hottest contract on the day for sure, though. Netflix puts, those are down. 18% out of the money. Kind of far out of the money. 264, yeah, nothing really there. VRT, nothing major there. How about those CCs? Ooh, what happened to this? 65, 66. Really nasty bid ask there. Looks like, I mean, you were up pretty high on the day. That's why I don't like chasing flow that's up, because that IV can be a little skewed, and now look, you'd be down a little bit on those. Yeah, not much. We finish in just kind of a choppy finish. Yeah, we finished right where we opened, essentially. No major changes in the market or anything yet, so it's kind of choppy for the most part. Pretty choppy. Yeah, and the week, I mean, again, and for those that are just kind of joining too, the flow recap is going to be at the beginning of the video. Just, I mean, the week of flow just wasn't that strong and convincing. I mean, and it happens. It's not going to always be batting 1,000% with the flow. How about these SPY puts? J-Rod hopped in. I know he's probably the one that plays the SPY puts because he wants me to look at them, I bet. Out of the money, 14%. Oh, put premiums are coming up. Holdings are a lot of put volume, but call premium still ask side. 42, 46, 51. Yeah, like these read as a buy to me, but again, do you want to swing them over the weekend and deal with FOMC next week? Probably not. And the interesting thing with SPY that I've been noticing when I've been doing the whatchamacallit, the updates at the end of the day. Look at that, all that bid side SPY premium. This, at some point, again, remember, the theory is price will catch up to these, and you got a lot of bid side put premium here to kind of be aware of there. So that's looking bearish on the premiums there for SPY, especially with the rate hike or rate cut baked in. Wonder if what we're at now. Yeah, 87 we popped up from yesterday. Oh, we dropped a little bit from yesterday. Well, we're going to get a rate cut next week. Those ADP numbers were horrendous on Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day. I don't know. It all kind of goes together at some point. Yeah, those SPY puts are very interesting, though. A lot of IWM puts. I'm not a big fan of IWM puts either. It seems like those, I mean, like if you just look the last 7 days of IWM puts, just all bearish. It seems like IWM puts or IWM flows always bearish. I'm just not a big fan of it, and it's always usually multi-leg too. So this one came back in on the 3rd. Let's just go look at that quick. Well, that one's not multi-leg. Of course I say something that's not multi-leg. Yeah, the ETF flow, I'm more picky with that just because it's can be a hedge more so. Alright, how are we finishing here on the day? Wants to bounce a little bit. Oh man, I am ready for the weekend here. Coming right back up to that VWAP here with 30 seconds left. And get over that. Good volume here towards the end of the day. Yeah, 55 million. Still low volume, though. Still very low volume. Purple, that would be thrown in with the normal gaps there. I'm going to have to update that again tonight. With SPY, it just kind of, it varies. Just So I kind of try to be a little more cautious with that. I'd rather see convincing flow versus the actual like net premiums, but whatever. Yeah, take it easy, JT. It's only 1 o'clock where you are, but you know. But yeah, there's our bell there. Just a very slow kind of day there. But all right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. And if you missed the flow recap, it's going to be posted in here. I gotta get the spreadsheet updated, and that'll be thrown into the tracker as well. But have a great weekend, everyone.